Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. Today is one of the former. Today we're taking a look at Rollercoaster Rumbler. This was a 1989 release from Tynesoft, developed by Gary Gray with graphics by Philip Nixon and music by RMS Special. It was a showcase-filled 3D game, but many publications at the time felt that the gameplay didn't really match up to the technology on display. ST Action rated the game 65%, with one reviewer noting that the game was one of many impressive 3D effects around at the moment, but it just hasn't got the gameplay to back it up. And another noting, there are better solid 3D games on the market, but if you have these and are looking for a new 3D blast, take a look into Rollercoaster Rumbler. I was fascinated by this game as a kid, even though I was absolutely terrified of roller coasters at the time, and I don't think I've played it since I was a kid, so I'm interested to return to it. So let's go play Rollercoaster Rumbler.
Okay, here we are with Rollercoaster Rumbler from Tynesoft. I remember sort of quite liking this back in the day, for reasons I've already outlined in the intro. But I was also sort of aware that there wasn't a lot to it. A lot of magazines at the time described it as sort of being pretty much a glorified tech demo, and I guess that's what it is, really. But I had some fun with this back in the day. And used to enjoy playing it. So, right, Rollercoaster Rumbler, programming G.J. Gray, graphics by Phil Nixon, music by RMS Special, and game concept by Subway Software. Right, start the game. So here we are with state-of-the-art filled 3D polygonal graphics on the Atari ST. You spin round a roller coaster car and enter our seat. Face down, apparently. And then there's this lovely 90s image of that's you, that is. So the concept of this is pretty simple. You're riding a roller coaster and you have to shoot shit. And that's pretty much it. So you move the aiming cursor around with the mouse and you shoot by clicking the left button. And your aim is simply to destroy stuff before it destroys you. So you do have limited ammunition as well. You'll note over on the status panel on the right hand side. So you need to try and conserve your ammo to a certain extent. But if I remember correctly, there are certain things you can shoot on the course that do replenish your ammunition as well. Yes, so those things that hang in there that say A for ammunition. And as you can see, the thrilling speed of the roller coaster is very much present and correct as we crawl our way up to the top of the hill. I suspect it will get a bit faster in a minute. I always get quite amused anytime I hear people referring to rail shooters, because I'm pretty convinced that this was the first ever rail shooter I played, and it's literally a rail shooter. It's literally a game where you're on rails shooting stuff at an atrocious frame rate. We've reached a point now where we need to start prioritizing our targets a bit. Because not everything does you damage. Yes, there we are. I was going to say there is a way of looking at the back as well. Press the right mouse button to do that. And again, to switch back to your front view. So, I mean, as you can see, this isn't exactly a technological marvel by modern standards, but I do remember enjoying it. It was just something a little bit different. So we'd had crosshair shooters. There was stuff like Operation Wolf and Operation Thunderbolt and that sort of thing. But this was different for the fact that it was a crosshair shooter with a moving background. And yes, that moving background isn't super impressive or anything like that. It doesn't go at an amazing frame rate, especially when there's a lot going on screen. But it's still made for a distinct experience that was different from other games doing similar things at the time. Oh, we're getting a bit low on damage. And you got 33 seconds left on this ride. I think you just have to sort of survive until the time runs out, if I remember correctly. Getting low on ammo as well. Probably for the best that we're about to finish. 2, 1, and done. Out of time. Okay, so we're supposed to achieve something by the time the time runs out. Not 100% sure what. Destroy everything, presumably. Beaut. So I guess we'll try that again. Yes, you can skip this initial bit. Right, let's try again. Oh, I see. The target counter down in the lower right of the car is counting down, not up. I thought it was counting how many targets we had destroyed. But no, it's counting down how many targets we have to destroy. So you have to destroy all those targets before the time runs out. Okay, that makes more sense. Now, some of those targets are actively harmful to you, whereas others are just things you need to shoot. And there's static targets and moving targets. So it's a shooting gallery, basically. And a lot of stuff only needs one shot to destroy. As long as you make sure you aim accurately. So this first bit here is actually pretty tricky because you're You're flying past most of the targets so fast. You don't have time to hit all of them. And I'm not 100% convinced that the frame rate is helping, because I feel like the collision system is running at the same speed as the frame rate, which means that it's simply not detecting you hitting certain things. Which is not ideal, shall we say. Oh well, time for another lap. I think all those things that plane thing was dropping counted as targets, though. So that's something. Now, can you speed up? I guess not. I found A for auto fire though. Oh no, we've been destroyed. You're dead. Good. Let's try that again, shall we? Now, this does move on to different levels if you actually successfully beat that first stage, but not 100% convinced that's going to happen today, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, there's a distinct feeling that the collision routine is running at the same frame rate as the actual visuals. Which means that although you can aim and fire quite responsibly, whether or not the game actually recognises you hitting something is another matter, which is a little bit of a problem. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if there is some sort of speed control in here, because it would certainly be helpful for this bit. Although that said, the auto fire definitely helps there. But you can see I'm clearly shooting out a lot of stuff there, and it's just not registering the collisions at all. That's a little bit of a problem. And then you have large tracts of nothing happening when you go around the parts of the course that you've already destroyed stuff on. That said, some of those bombs it's dropping do seem to be counting for several points. Several target points, that is. Yeah, look, it's like multiple... Oh, and that's extra time as well. Where is the ammo replenishing thing we had before? Yeah, I only need to hit 4 targets now. I'm sure I can do that with 55 bullets. Two. There we go, done. And then bonus for time remaining. You don't need to destroy everything. That's good. So we grind to a halt at the most inconvenient point possible on the course. And then we proceed to our next level. Oh, it works quite nice in this. Outside of the polygon stuff, obviously, which is all fairly simple and abstract. But, like, dodgy frame rate aside, I actually quite like the look of this game. Just the abstract presentation, I think, works well for this kind of shooter. Turn auto fire back on, that's much more convenient. You may remember some stories I told a while back about my brother's girlfriend's father and how I used to like any family visits to his house, because my brother's girlfriend's father was also my clarinet teacher and a family friend as well, so we used to go and visit him quite often. And I used to enjoy visiting him because he had a 1040 ST-FM, which meant that he had an ST that would run all sorts of stuff that ours wouldn't. Because we had a 520 ST, an old model, and we had a 1 megabyte STE. And between those things, there was some stuff that didn't run at all on the STE, because the STE was notoriously bad for compatibility issues. Oh, have I got any ammo left? Run out of ammo, immediate game over. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I used to like going over to his place because he had a lot of games that we didn't as well. So he had stuff that would run better on his machine because he had a megabyte of RAM, and he had stuff that that simply didn't run on the STE as well. And this game, I don't know if it ran on our computers, but he certainly had this game and we didn't. So one that I liked to play quite a bit when we went to visit him was this one. Looking back on it, it's not an amazing game by any means, but it's quite fun. It's a fun, quite literal rail shooter. Decent enough. As the reviews at the time said, it's mostly a tech demo for what was at the time reasonably good quality filled 3D graphics. Today, perhaps not quite as impressive as it could be, but it's fun for a go or two. Bit of silly arcade style fun, and I would actually quite like to see this reimagined with modern presentation. I think that would be really fun, but yeah, not something that I necessarily see happening. But yeah, it would make a great light gun shooter as well, as I'm sure you'll agree. And then there's plenty of arcade games that sort of tap into that kind of feel. But as for home computer stuff, this was relatively distinctive. But yeah, I always have a bit of a soft spot for it, despite it not being the most amazing game you will ever play. So let's leave it there for today. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.